Hey guys, it's Finding Prince Charming Season 1, Episode 9, all tied up with special guest stars Robert Sepúlveda Jr. and Eric Leonardos. It is going to be a cat fight tonight on the reunion. Watch now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
You are feeling your oats tonight.
Hey, this is my song. This is my song.
Feeling it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's Finding Prince Charming recap. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and I am joined by all the gaggle of gals tonight. Starting to my far left, we have...
Am I that far away?
You are real far away.
We got the whole gaggle, though.
We got 13 people in this studio.
Oh my gosh, it is amazing. Hey guys, I am Chris Valentine. You can find me on Twitter at AKA Golden Boy and check out all my celebrity interviews on my website, chrisvalentine.la.
Hey guys, it's Grant. Grant's _ Rants on Twitter.
Hey guys, it's Ellis. I'm at, I can't hear myself, at Joan_B_jealous and still _jealous.
Hey everyone, Jesse D'Angelo here. You can find me across all social media at Jesse J. D'Angelo.
I already said who I was. And live in our studio, we have the very beautiful couple, the bachelor and the suitor, have found each other. We have Robert and Eric live with us. Yay!
Hi guys.
How are you guys?
We're good. We're happy to be here.
Yeah,
it's actually nice to be in the studio. I've seen you guys on YouTube, so I'm glad you guys have us.
Three-dimensional. We're real people now.
So wait, so did you hear?
I am too, actually.
Did you hear everything?
A real human being.
Did you hear everything that we talked about?
No.
Okay,
I've only
good.
seen maybe like one or two.
Okay, good.
We've been good. We have fun. We have a lot of fun on this show.
We always have a lot of
Ignorance
fun.
is bliss sometimes.
Yeah. but I heard it's a good thing that I haven't heard everything because you guys have been like, really
Yes,
hard on
episode
not only me but the show, and so
No. We
let's
loved
tackle all
you
that
from
tonight, right?
like episode 1. We kind of went into some deep areas, but then after that, so you obviously did not watch episode 1. Okay, good. So after
He knows
I think we were all good. I think we were all good.
This one likes to go deep.
I want to go deep. You know,
I was gonna say.
that is my moniker, and I contacted you, all of you, before the season started. So I'm so excited that you guys are here tonight. It is a dream come true for us. Thank
We're glad
you.
we're here.
Yeah, we're definitely
Thank
glad
you.
to be here.
This is
Thank
gonna
you
be
so
fun.
much.
All right, so let's get into this reunion, which I thought that I was going to have to bring out my biggest tea mug because I thought all the tea was going to be spilled, but it was cute. What did you guys think?
It was cute. I love seeing all of the stars back on again. I mean, Charlie, I kind of missed him, and it was great to see
Well,
Jason
so did everybody
again.
else on the show.
Charlie?
Yeah, see, it's like, who's Charlie? But no, the whole cast was there. I did find it a little interesting that Robbie was front and center in front of everybody with a space around him like he was the star.
Well,
So-
when is Robbie not front and center?
That's his character.
He might put himself there.
There are some people who just walk into a room and they are just front and center. They're like the Beyonce, while everyone else is a Kelly or Michelle.
We did see, though, some scenes tonight that I had never seen before. So there was
Yes.
some new tea, and we did see a naked person in the pool. Okay, it wasn't
was
just
naked?
me.
Who?
It was
I didn't
Robbie.
see that. Oh, well,
I know you missed that. Robbie's shorts came down, and he did a back thing, and he was completely
Of
naked.
course, that's the one thing you documented throughout this whole reunion.
Is that the no?
That's the most
That
important thing.
is
It's a
the note.
huge star next to that.
Robbie cheeks.
That wasn't one of the promos, though. I did
have
see
seen
it.
that.
Yeah.
I've seen that,
It made
yeah.
one of the promos.
Okay.
Actually, he actually was going to do like a flip or something, and then his pants
Just
came down.
accidentally.
Yeah.
Accidentally.
Right.
It was like a half.
Accidentally on purpose.
And I was going to ask you guys, after you had that pool moment at the very end, did anything else happen? Because everybody's asking, you really seemed to bond with him right after that pool scene. Did something happen in the pool?
Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna do that at all because Brandon was in the other room.
Yeah.
He was hurt from his Achilles heel, and there was no way that I was gonna. And I did want to stay, and I thought that over. Actually, I asked the story producers if I could stay, and
In the pool or with Brandon?
No, like in the actual hotel that we were staying in. I wanted to spend more time with Eric, but then I was like, there's no way that I could actually do that with Brandon in the other room. No way.
Yeah.
See, he's so respectful.
He's a Prince Charming
He
through
is.
and through.
Well, let's get to some of our other favorite moments of the reunion, and then we're gonna talk very
Insensitively? No,
Well,
we
no,
would
not
never do that.
insensitively. There was a word, and I lost it. I promise I have
An
a
intimate
college degree.
conversation.
They were gonna go deep with Robert and Eric.
depth.
They're whatever. We're not Barbara Walters, but we're
Thank God for that.
very much like. All right,
I don't care for her.
so what did you guys enjoy about this reunion?
I'll
Favorite
go.
parts?
Yeah, I like the reunion because it kind of showed, like, we saw in the house that you guys all got along, and even, like, toward the end, we saw, like, a bond between the suitors, and I kind of felt that that carried through the reunion. Like, even though there was some fights, overall, we saw a lot of people who just bonded over this same experience, and it was nice to see just gay men getting along together. And at the reunion, you're right, a lot of tea wasn't spilled, there wasn't, like, crazy stories, but it was nice to see that people actually came out of this experience happy and loving.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's one perspective, but there was a lot that went down, especially on social media before we went on the reunion.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were all on our best behavior, definitely, but there was a lot of, for me, I mean, there was a lot of animosity towards the guys because I had received a lot of social media hate from a lot of the guys on there,
Yeah.
but I wasn't going to go on there with the perspective of trying to fight them or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it came off that way, but there was a lot of issues.
You're talking about like Sam or Chad or somebody?
Just, I mean, some of the guys know who they were, that they were attacking me personally, attacking Eric, attacking the show.
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely a few guys that really came after Robert.
Oh, yeah.
And you sit back and watch and you think it's not really necessary.
Yeah.
But as far as like the people who actually really made connections on the show, those people stood behind each other
Yes.
the entire time and never came for each other, on social media, on or off. And still to this day, I believe most of all those people who actually made friendships are maintaining them.
Which is a good thing.
We're talking Team Sister Wives here, right? That's yeah, you guys seem
We all
tight,
shared
and I
an
want that
amazing
show.
experience.
Yeah. That could totally be a separate show.
Yeah.
Yeah, hashtag Sister Wives.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, it was really, it's like the top four and Robbie, like, we all really, like, bonded together. And it's funny because, like, whenever I'm around them, they bring something out of me and get me to, like, be a little bit more excited than I normally am. It's like they are able to pull that out of me, which is really nice. It's nice to have friends like that that are able to do that for you. I mean,
And can I say, you both look amazing in studio. I was telling you earlier, you look better in person.
It's all the lighting in here. The lighting is
It's great here at
Right?
AfterBuzz.
Well, Robert, I wanted to find out from you because, of course, even though you had this experience, I'm sure it was different actually seeing some of the things that happened in the house. Like, was there a different perspective for you, like, watching the season and seeing a lot of the things that you might have heard about or talked about with the other guys?
Yeah, well, being at the reunion, you're getting, first of all, you're in this room with all these guys. Their energy is focused on you. So I was like, melting out in my seat because they all wanted to kind of come at me for some reason or another. But yeah, I mean, it was an amazing experience for me all around. And what was the question? I lost the question.
I'm like,
What was it like
got lost in
watching the
Eric.
show?
Oh, watching the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. You're seeing yourself, as Eric says a lot of time, from a different perspective. So you're seeing, your mannerisms. You're seeing how you interact with people. You're seeing how all of that, which is really kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
For me, it was.
And Eric, how was it for you watching the show? Because we were sitting right next to each other, and I was like, if I was watching my boyfriend kiss other guys, I was like, oh my God, I would be really upset. And you did seem to kind of do that with a few of the guys. Does it bother you watching the episodes back, seeing Robert kiss other
yeah,
guys?
I mean, the whole season, to sit there and watch it all over again, or to watch things that you didn't see before, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but I mean, in the end, I know what happens.
You get Robert.
Right. So it's uncomfortable. Honestly, it's sort of like, I think of it from my point of view, like if I were kissing them, I think, because that's what the viewer does, right?
Yeah.
They think from their point of
Yeah,
view,
good
and
point.
there's a few people where I'm like, oh, gross.
because you feel like you're going through it with Robert. Like, if
Yeah.
that were me, like, I wouldn't have picked him, or I would do that too.
Right, and
so.
I had to get over jealousy really fast. If you go onto a show like this and you're going to put yourself out there, you have to get over it. Now, in the beginning, I'm not going to lie, when I was there on the show and I would watch, especially the moments where we would be in the house and, Robert would leave and he would walk over here, he'd go upstairs or something like that, I would be like, really? I don't, and that was really uncomfortable, and I didn't like seeing that. But then I was like, well, I'm here, it's like I'm either here or I'm not.
But he was a good sport. I mean, for me to have to basically meet up with all the guys. I have to share my time with all of them, and I have to respect that. I have to respect that they're putting themselves out there. And me and Eric did have an amazing connection on the show throughout the show, but I had to respect the fact that all the other guys were actually putting themselves on the line as well, and he was amazing to understand that.
And who was the best kisser on this? For you.
He was the best kisser.
I know I'm not supposed to ask that. You have to say Eric. You have to say Eric.
Robert, I want to know, when you weren't at the house, where did you go? Because we always saying, where is he? Is he out with Lance? Is he
I'd
working?
love
What are you
to.
doing? Where's Robert?
I was at a hotel. I was sequestered as well. They
was
took
just
my
gonna say.
phone. I mean, thankfully I had television, which the guys didn't, so I could kind of stay in reality. I could watch my news. I could kind of tune the whole reality show out.
Yeah.
But I was at a hotel
Yeah.
nearby.
In the beginning of the reunion, Brodney mentioned how shocked he was that he went home, and you explained to him that there was no connection. I don't know about you guys, but I was actually kind of surprised by his comment, because during the show, I felt like he had kind of bowed himself out because he felt like there wasn't like an attraction or
Same.
a connection or anything like that. So
Yeah.
that statement kind of shocked me. Was it anyone else, or was it just me? Am I the Lone Ranger?
No, I felt the energy was weird from the beginning because
Yes.
you guys knew each other from New York or something.
Atlanta.
And there was like
I
an
never,
undercurrent.
I
Atlanta,
never
okay.
met him, but he said he knew me from Atlanta.
You went to the same gym.
We went to the same
and
gym.
he recognized you right away.
He did,
and there's
yeah.
this weird energy from the
Yeah,
beginning.
I mean, everyone had to just, we all had to get each other's attention.
Yeah.
And that was the first day that we were on. The producers was like, okay, you have to eliminate 3 guys. And I had to eliminate the guys that I just didn't have the deepest connection with.
Right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately or fortunately, it was Brodney, Charlie, and Nick. That's
Yeah.
just what I had to do. It was my
Yeah.
position.
And for Brodney to say, like on the reunion, for him to say, "Oh, we had so many things in common." Well, okay, great. Like
Yeah.
we both
he
might
was
like
so-
dogs. That doesn't mean like I
Yeah.
feel
And
a
we did.
connection
He's
enough
a
to
very
pursue.
handsome guy. We do work out together. I mean, we have worked out, not worked out together, but we work out. He has a great career. We do have a lot of things in common, but he didn't put himself out there like everyone else did, and I had to make a decision.
Yeah,
And
of course.
I think he's an amazing guy, and I wish him all the best. And
Nick-
but I had to make a decision.
But speaking of Nick, he has an amazing body. It seemed to come out in the reunion tonight. Did you know that? Because he wanted to keep his shirt on by the pool. I mean, he never even showed himself. And then tonight, we had a reveal.
Those were spray-on abs.
Oh my gosh, everybody on this show looks
Did I miss
amazing.
that?
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, what are you talking about, Nick?
I'm talking about Nick, and I loved how Nick said, another good point was everybody on this show had a story to tell, and I think that was part of what this whole season was about, which was great. Nick revealed himself a little bit tonight in the reunion. Did you all catch that?
Yeah, Nick
We
is-
missed
he's,
that.
He's a great guy. He's
always
a great
liked him.
catch, and
Yeah,
he
you know,
was,
so
he was
nice.
one of the guys that had to eliminate first round.
He was the first one on our show.
The first night that we were all there, Nick and I were actually roommates. It was Nick, Justin, Robbie, and myself. We were all there, and Nick and I actually bonded, and I spent time talking to him because there was all the craziness that was happening with Sam and with Dylan and with Robbie, and that was a moment for all of them. And Nick and I kind of stayed in the room, and we were just like talking to each other, and Justin was there, and it was just the 3 of us, and that's how I got to know Nick, and he is a really great guy.
He is, totally.
Yeah.
I say most of them have been. They come off great.
Well, let's cut to Sam.
I know like, most stuff.
He's the breakout bad boy of the show.
Is he the-
That's what everybody's
I think
saying.
he thinks he
Is he
is.
the-
I think he
yeah.
likes the thought of being the bad
I
boy
think
of the show.
Logo actually called him that. He's the breakout bad boy of the show.
I don't know. I don't know if they called him all that, but I just thought he was team too
Italian.
much this whole entire time. And using that he's Italian, that's not an excuse to be loud.
I'm Italian.
There's
We
like,
all are Italian.
there's
I
like
think we're all
6 Italians in this room right now.
We should be throwing
Come
each other
on.
around.
I can assure you, I'm not Italian.
I'm not saying we're not loud,
I'm
but we
not
don't
Italian.
go around using that as an excuse.
I'm Italian.
Did you guys feel that Sam's apology to Dylan regarding the spitting in the face
There
was?
still wasn't an apology.
I didn't see one.
It was just a save face, in my opinion. It was just enough to say, look, yeah. That's all it is.
Brittany, is that you?
My lip sync was caught. Hold on.
Oh, that is you.
Try.
That's okay.
I'm
I'm gonna chat with Jesse over here.
Hey.
So, Eric, were you around for that situation with Sam and Dylan before it escalated to the spitting in the face?
Yeah, I definitely got to see a little bit of Sam getting heated in the hot tub. I was there for that. I got to see that. Sam
Until
definitely.
everyone excused themselves, which was one of the best scenes ever.
Love that.
I
Yeah,
really think.
Sam always just would go from 0 to 100, and no time. And he, that's what was happening in the hot tub. Like he started going crazy, and it was just he would just start spinning out of control, and all of a sudden it just would escalate.
Well, you were sitting right there on the bed when the big scene happened.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when that happened? Were you
Well, right before Sam came into the room, I was sitting there with Dylan, and I could tell that Dylan was really upset, and Sam was screaming in the house. Like,
we heard him coming up the stairs. Like, this is great reality, but yeah.
Yeah, he's screaming all over the house, and I was like, what? I could tell that he was going to be violent. Like, you could just hear it in his scream that he was going to be violent. So I went over to the door and put my hand on the door, and I was like, holding the door, and
serious?
Dylan said, you know what, just stop. What's going to happen is going to happen. And so I went and sat down on the bed, and we just sat there literally in quiet and just waited.
You were in disbelief, though,
no,
right?
we just knew. I knew. And he comes in, and he does it, has a scene, and spits in his face, and leaves, and you wonder if he did it for attention or if he's just that crazy.
Yeah. Well, I was waiting all season for the LAPD to come. I had my police outfit ready. And
I bet you
You would have an outfit.
I know.
I have an outfit for everything.
Not regular.
Robert, how did you feel seeing the spit?
Yeah.
I wasn't in the house.
Yeah.
I think that spitting on someone is just completely disrespectful. I don't think one should ever go there. And I don't have much to say about Sam. I wish him well. I wish everyone well. But I think Sam has his own. We all have our issues, and I think that it's obvious that Sam has his issues, and I hope he resolves them.
Well, we have a great saying in the South for people like Sam. Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Bless your heart.
It was weird hearing him say on the show that he had no attraction to you, because I thought that was the whole reason why he went so crazy, was because he was in this situation where he was connecting with you, but he had 12 other men that were going after you, and he was just kind of all over the place. So I was shocked to hear that. I was like, okay, well, girl, you were just there for your 15 minutes of fame, too.
Yeah.
That you're trying to stretch out into an hour. Is that shade? That's not shade,
That's
is
a
it?
lot of shade.
You're going there tonight. You're just doing all the work.
I'm just gonna sip.
You know what other moment
Sip your tea.
really? You know what other moment really stuck out to me? We were talking about what struck us in this episode was the Chad moment, where they talked about him and Jason had his 2 cents about him being negative. And I talked about a story last time, and someone I knew that had dated Chad and had a very similar experience and a similar exit from his life. So that kind of validated a little bit of
You
what
dated
I thought.
Chad?
No,
Oh,
a friend of mine. No,
a friend of yours.
no,
Okay.
yeah.
No,
That
I mean,
didn't end well
Chad
either.
called me a player so many times, but at the same time, he's sleeping with Sam behind my back. Again, I think it's obvious that we all had to do psychological testing, but I think some people failed, and they picked those people. I mean, because
I would so
I would
I don't know how
only
he's
hope.
gonna call me names, but at the same time, he's doing stuff behind everyone's back. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean,
Which
stability
jaw-dropping
issues.
That was a jaw-dropping moment. I mean, even though someone told us that already on the show that they had hooked up, but to oh yeah, freak nasty. But
I
to hear it officially, it
got
was
the
just kind of
exclusive.
like, oh, okay. And on the first night, y'all are supposed to be there for you, and they just.
It's all good. I mean, as long as they had fun, they had they were eliminated, so obviously.
Apparently, it was
things
5
worked out.
minutes
It's not
of-
like they made
Yeah.
it to the end and then you found out. That would be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
they're
when people drink copious amounts of alcohol, they do stupid things and they don't remember, and
is true.
that's usually what happens.
I mean, I don't want to blame it on the alcohol. They knew what they were doing. So.
Yeah.
But a bar is requisite at any reality show, and that's the first thing that you do when you come through the doors is the bar's there first.
Well, Brandon doesn't drink, so he's
okay.
sober. And he
Yes.
never had
That's
a drink.
true. He
So,
represented.
Yeah.
Well, what about? They also mentioned the whole issue with Dylan and Chad.
They've already. I mean, we know that they've squashed that, and that was
Yeah.
kind of a
Well, and it was
what
great.
about-
jealousy. I think
What
it goes
about the
down to
Chad situation from the beginning of the show? With that, he talked about on the show there was an air conditioner that was out, and he had to deal with.
Yes.
What do we want to say about that? Anything? Do you want to address that?
I have a
what
question,
do you see?
definitely, for Eric. So, Eric, you said at the very beginning of the season that you felt Chad was propositioning you with his hands down his pants. Do you still stand by that?
Yes, I still feel like that's what was happening. Now, whether or not he just likes to walk around with his hands in his pants and do that with everyone, Chad was definitely over-sexualized. Like, he definitely talks about sex a lot more than what any of the other guys do, and maybe that's just who he is, and that's how he likes to be with his friends. But to me, in that moment, and still, I'm going to stand behind it. Like, I definitely felt like he was coming on to me.
And were you uncomfortable when he was doing
Yeah,
that?
I mean, we just had left a black tie affair. Like, we were just told, like, okay, like, you're here, you know, I want to keep you here. And it was, it was the very beginning. You'd sent 3 people home all at the same time.
Yeah.
And now we're here, and you're running around trying to come on to me and apparently having, you know, relations with Sam too. So
When were the relations, before or after this moment you had?
I have no
They
idea.
said it was the first night.
It was the
I
first
really
night.
don't know.
I think
I
he
wasn't
moved
up in
on.
that room. That was definitely the
It was-
crazy room.
Yeah, it was
for
the first
Brandon.
night, so that means he was trying to make you the second night.
No, he was
No,
the first night too. It didn't work out.
That was
So.
the first night, right?
Oh, so
That's what I'm.
Chad.
He went from
Maybe-
Eric to Sam.
That's what it sounds like.
that's
So
what
you
I'm
were
doing.
you were
And I'm
calling
not
out.
We don't
judging
really
either.
know, yeah.
I don't judge. I don't judge.
And
but
I
Don't judge me here.
And I'm not
I
here
don't
to
judge.
hate
I
on
don't judge.
Chad
That's my
either.
new line. I don't judge.
Yeah.
I think that we.
I don't judge.
Great soundbite.
I really don't. As you get older,
But
you
I will
become
say
less
this.
judgmental like
I
that.
will say this. At the end of it all, like Sam and I were able to resolve things and be able to. That's what you have to do in life. You have to agree to disagree sometimes. And so his perspective was one thing, mine was another. We all have different perspectives. Him and I are able to see each other, be around each other, and be friendly. And that's all that really matters at the end of the day. I have no hard feelings for Chad. And that's, you know, I don't want to walk away from anybody. Even if they do wrong to me, I'm not going to feel poorly or bad about them.
Well, that's exactly right, because you guys were hanging out at Mickey's, and that's when I came up to you, and I didn't know who you were, and I'm like, can you take a picture of me and chat? And
You were
I'm
hanging
like,
out at Mickey's.
Oh, come on.
This was before y'all could be seen together.
Yeah, because you guys
And
were
you
both
guys
out
were
that
hanging
night.
out
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
You guys were hanging out together, so I totally...
It was the episode, Chad's episode, I don't remember what his episode where he left, but when he left, he was here in LA that night. And a bunch of us met up and went out that night. And of course, like, we're hanging out, it's fun, and you can be next to someone and not be their best friend, but you can still be friendly and have a good time.
And you did. You were
Yeah.
amazing.
Robert, what did you think about Chad's dramatic exit where, you know, he came up and gave you the tie and was like, oh, I don't like players. And then 5 minutes later, he was walking out with his bag, which, by the way, is still record timing for anyone packing a bag.
Time, yeah, it was.
I would have been up in my room like for a good 30 minutes trying to
You
get
know, he
everything
had to
together.
forget something.
Well, I mean, the guys don't have to pack before they leave. I thought actually they all packed before they left, so
Yeah.
that's why he had to go back up to his room.
Oh.
I liked Chad from the moment that I met him. I thought he was cute and handsome and funny and sincere, and I loved that about him.
Yeah.
But now that I know what happened with him and Sam, it really takes all that away. And he actually left twice. Like this was a
This
yeah,
was
it
the
was
second time. The second time was more
And
dramatic
then he
than
threw
the
the tie down, and
Yeah.
he's just a dramatic guy, you know.
Because I felt like when they panned
do.
to you and I saw your face, I was like, he must be boiling inside.
No, I wasn't upset at all. I was actually sad. I
Yeah.
was sad that he was actually going that route and throwing it down like that because
Yeah.
I thought I was just disrespecting the whole process because everybody was up there putting their feelings on the line and then he just wants to bow out like that. And again, now that I know that he did something with Sam, it's like, what's going through your head?
Yeah,
what's going on here?
Yeah.
So,
How long ago was this filmed? This was
we
in the
wrapped
summer?
July 24th. We wrapped.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So, and then the reunion was about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Almost
just trying
a
to
month
put a
ago.
timeline.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
long time. That's a long time to have these feelings all bottled up that you're ready to get out. Because it's like
Yeah.
reliving those moments all over again. It's like that home movie that your cousin always brings out
Yeah, I was
to
telling,
show everybody.
I was telling Eric that we're trying to close the chapter, trying to turn the page
Yes.
on this entire scenario, on this entire experience in a sense, and we have to relive those emotions over and over again. Like watching that, I kind of shake a little bit. And,
Yeah.
because we experienced something that a lot of people don't experience. Like we went on the show, we shared it with the world. He shared his stuff, I shared my stuff. It's like it's all real. That we really shared that with everybody.
Yeah.
So seeing that all over again, it's like, oh my God, we have to relive it
Yeah,
over and over
relive
again.
it.
Yeah.
But
And that has to be tough, especially now that the episodes were airing and then all of a sudden you guys are kind of thrust into the spotlight to then like be so vulnerable to everyone and have everyone comment on some of your vulnerable moments. How was that for you guys? Like, how did you feel about that?
Well, for me, I knew that I was signing up for something that was going to be very public. Thankfully, I did public work in the past with my activism, with my modeling. So I was kind of already getting criticized for just anything and everything.
Yeah.
So I prepared myself for criticism on an even bigger scale. But I've always had a really thick skin, and I can, if I don't appreciate something, I'll either block them on Twitter or, I live my life.
You do what you want.
No, the thing is that I love to live a very harmonious life. I'm a very positive person. I love positive energy in my life. And if somebody's going to bring negativity into my space, they can have that right, but I don't want it in my space,
Exactly.
And if it's Twitter or Facebook and you can easily block them, first of all, that's why the button was created.
Exactly.
And
There are some people in this room that have experienced your block.
I don't exactly know which person I blocked, but anything. If it's negative energy, it's just so easy to just bloop. It works.
There was always a segment on, well, I wouldn't call it a segment, but a moment during our recaps where we would check to see who was still like able to see
a little update.
your
Well,
Twitter.
I'm sorry. I'm not a mean guy, but I
I'm so
do
good. I was
love
always
to live
good.
my life in harmony and peace.
Yes.
And if someone's going to interrupt that for whatever reasons, they have their own issues of why they're feeling these pent up, resentment or whatever it is that they're feeling.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It's about them.
It's about them.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
when you do these reality shows, you have these huge contracts to sign. I've signed a million of them. In talking about revealing what you had to do, did you tell Logo about your past? Did they know going into it?
They knew going into it, and they've said that before many times, that we knew about Robert's past.
Right.
We know about about his history, and they've always supported me. I think what this show has allowed everyone to do, especially me, is to talk about and confront issues that are taboo issues. Sex is a taboo issue anywhere, and first of all, being
Especially in the United States.
and being homosexual throughout the world it's just a taboo issue in general.
Right.
So we've really tackled a lot of issues that are taboo issues, and I'm grateful that I get to tackle my past of being an escort with other people, because people are doing it every single day.
Exactly. That's what I
And
said
getting
last
shamed
week.
about it.
And why?
And
Why? Yeah.
there's a lot of people that are actually very hypocritical to the fact that just because you took control of your life in one part of your life whenever you needed to do that, and you took control of that, that's a bad thing. But you can have meaningless sex all you want, or be on Grindr, or be on this. But just because you did something different, you're a bad guy, or you're wrong, or you're unworthy of love, or you're unworthy of dignity. Or that's just that's not right.
Exactly right. And that's why I asked them last week, why are we demonizing this escorting business in the first place? I can understand if you're on a dating show, you probably don't want to be escorting at that moment.
Correct.
But if it's in your past and you weren't worth anybody, and there's guys doing it today, why do we have to make it like a bad thing?
Well, that's a bigger issue in and of itself within the gay community. People in the gay community have a tendency to tear each other down rather than embrace and celebrate their success. If maybe there are people out there that are not happy for Robert for actually being the first Prince Charming. Maybe they see him in that way and they're not going to be happy for him. Or maybe there are people that look at Robbie even and he's a breakout star and they can't just celebrate and be excited and happy for them. Like, I could sit back and be like, oh, Robbie, like I went on the show too. Where's my glitz and glam? It's like Robbie, he has his special light. He has his ability to shine like that, and it is a true and authentic, and that's who he is. And I'm sure there are people out there that are like not happy for him. We have to be happy for each other and celebrate each other's
We have to
success.
embrace each other,
So
basically.
we want to make advancements like within our own community, but then like behind the scenes, everyone, like you said, tears each other down. So it's like we can't,
Because it's all supposed to be rainbows and unicorns when you go into our community, but it's not always
not,
like that.
no.
If you come into my bubble, it is definitely like that. I have daffodils and sunflowers and all that kind of good.
That's good.
You kind
Yeah.
of touched about being like the first Prince Charming. Like, how do you feel like the show's going to grow from here? Because we know we have a season 2. How do you think the show's going to develop?
Well, I mean, this is a historical show. This is the first all-gay dating show. People have had issues with the Boy Meets Boy show. That wasn't an all-gay dating show, and there was this
No.
ridiculous twist at the
There
end.
was some trickery with that.
Yeah.
I remember watching that.
Because I
That was
remember
trickery.
watching that when I was
remember
younger, and I
that.
remember seeing that and
I
being
used
like,
to watch it with my mother as well,
Yeah.
so I remember that show. But the fact is that nobody's going to be able to take away the fact that I was the first Prince Charming, no matter what they think of me or what they thought of the first show. And there's a responsibility. There's a responsibility for people in the media and people that have a voice, people that have a platform, to be more aware of the fact that it's not easy to be gay in a lot of areas, not only in the country but in the world, and we have a responsibility to continue the activism and continue to talk about this subject. So I take it as a huge responsibility to be the first gay Prince Charming, because there is a responsibility with it. And going forward, I hope the second Prince Charming is aware of that, and he does, charitable work and brings light and awareness to many topics, like our topics, like HIV, like escorting, like sex in general. Those are issues that need to be spoken about.
Wow.
Well, I really feel like it's obvious like what the characters are, and I think that the people that the suitors that will come onto the show will just fall in line to what those characters are and try to be those people. We set the tone. Like this is sort of the tone of the way things are, and people will come on there and they might try to be a little bit of Robbie, they might try to be a little Sam, they might try to be a little Dylan, to try to take the spotlight, because none of us, like, I can only speak for myself. I was approached for this. Like, I didn't try out for this. I didn't like see some thing on Facebook and I didn't go out.
How did they approach you? That's a really...
Somebody found me on Facebook.
Really?
From casting, sent me a message, and then I was just like, okay, I've never done something like this before, but this was like the year of yes for me. I read this book by Shonda Rhimes, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna say yes. I was like, I'm gonna just say yes to all the things that really scare the fuck out of me, and I was like, I don't know if I can say that. Can I say that?
Yeah. You already.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna say yes to all of those things, and doing that, I said yes, they said yes, and just kept going until the end.
We are so glad. Are you guys coming back for season 2?
I have no idea.
Maybe we'll have a guest appearance role, I guess. I mean, Logo, if you're out there, we're willing.
We know you're going to be back.
Robert, how were you approached to be Prince
Same.
Charming?
It was through a friend that knew one of the executive producers, and they thought that I would be perfect for the role, and that's how it happened in February, actually, before everything happened production-wise.
You were in Atlanta?
I was living in Atlanta, yeah.
Do you have any hesitations going into it?
No, because I was actually out of a relationship that I was in for over a year. It was a very turbulent relationship, and so we ended that. And then my cousin passed away, and she was only 20 years old. And so I figured that, all this is happening for a reason. I just broke up with, my ex, my cousin passed away, and then this show is being offered to me. And I'm going to have a chance to meet 13 amazing guys. Why not? Why wouldn't I do it? And so I said, I'm in it all the way.
And you're now here in Los Angeles, right?
And I'm here now in AfterBuzz TV with you guys. And I live here now.
So are you guys living together? Everybody wants to know. Are you sharing the same
No, he has his own
shelter?
place. He actually moved recently. And
They're not lesbians.
Excuse me, we all want to know. Are you going to get married? Are you going to have babies? What's the next step?
Marriage, babies.
What's this?
No marriage.
Where are we going?
Well, you can't just get off of reality show. They don't give you a book for dummies, how to date, or how to manage your life after a reality show. And we're taking every day, as day by day. The honest truth is that I've seen Brandon as well. So there's still a lot of conflict there with me personally on how and what direction I want my life to go in, because I do care about Brandon a lot too, and I care about Eric a lot too, and that's just the honest truth. On the reunion, you can tell that I have a lot of feelings for both of these guys.
Well,
so
and that doesn't make it very easy to be in a relationship.
No, it doesn't. It makes it difficult.
When somebody, going onto the show, like what you want from somebody is to say that you're the one, you're special, and then when that happens and you find out that this person is still in conflict, that makes it really difficult to come off of this and actually want to be with them or feel wanted, and so that's something that Robert will have to figure out.
Yeah, and that's something that we've talked about, but that's reality. That's real.
I'm amazed at your honesty. I'm like in shock. That's really great that you brought that up, because I didn't even know that. I'm like,
it's real.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. No, were you guys going out during the show, or right when it ended? Were you going on dates and seeing each other?
Yeah, like right when the show ended, we were spending a lot of time together. I was still living in Atlanta, and I decided to move, and he actually came to Atlanta with me on a trip, and so he got to see my life in Atlanta.
Did you wear dark sunglasses and hide yourself and go to the
We were always like
movies
incognito.
It made it really difficult to just relax and be yourself. coming off of the show and then being told, you're not allowed to be able to see each other, not allowed to be around each
That's
other.
what I
But
thought.
then we do.
I'm amazed you did that.
But we did it anyway. We weren't at that point. Like nobody knew who I was, so it really didn't matter. Nobody was really looking that closely. Then as the show continues to unfold, and you become, people see you, they're like, remember your name. Like in the very beginning, they're like, oh, who's that person? And then, oh, and that's the person that does this. And then the longer you're there, they're like, oh, then they get your name, and now they know who you are because they've seen you. They've seen you more.
Yeah.
We've only been able to spend time together in public since last Thursday.
gosh.
We've been at this since August. What was it? No, I'm sorry. When did we start filming?
June
May?
June
I don't know.
24th.
Yeah. So
it was a month.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Wow, that is so short.
It's been very difficult. It's been difficult.
Well, at least you're in the same city now.
Yeah.
We are. Yeah.
And guys, if you need the best haircut, come see Eric.
And I want to schedule an
I was like, are you about to plug someone else?
Eric cuts my hair, and he's giving my
great.
Prince Charming haircut to everybody. I'm like, no, this is copywritten. You can't do that.
That's your
trademark.
Everybody I see, he's like, he cut my hair. I'm like, yeah, I can tell you have my hair. But he does amazing hair. He's at Republic, right?
Yeah, public service.
Public service, sorry. Public
Awesome.
service.
Can I give a shout out to your sister Jennifer?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, Jenny, I love you.
I love
She's
her.
amazing.
Like when she came on the show, I was like, oh, if she ever came to LA, I would so hang out with her.
She's feisty, but she's
so
a big
fun.
sister. She's a protective big sister.
Yeah.
So-
I was gonna ask you, as far as that episode goes, when they got to meet your family, when she sort of friend zoned Justin, I was gonna ask how much weight that carried with your decision, because I have an older sister too, and I mean from the short episode, like we have kind of a similar relationship, and what she says to me means a lot. So I was kind of wondering how big of an impact that had.
What my
on-
sister says to me, it does mean a lot. It does weigh a lot on my mind. But the fact is that Justin and I were just really creating a friendship at that moment, and I really did have deeper feelings for Dylan, Eric, and Brandon, and I had to eliminate someone, and it just came down to the fact that not only did my family really see that,
'Cause
but
she
I
did-
felt that
yeah.
as well, and that was it.
My sister said that about Justin. Be like, nope, I'm
Speaking
going
of,
with Justin.
speaking of Dylan,
Justin.
I have to ask this question because I noticed this all throughout the season that Dylan, I felt like, was the only person that did not get a kiss from you. Well, he tried but failed.
Got the cheek.
Vinger.
He got the cheek really quick.
Yeah.
So why did a kiss between you and Dylan never? Was there not a right moment? Or?
There was no particular reason. Dylan is very. He kind of comes in for the kill a lot, which is amazing. That's a really beautiful quality to have. But I guess there was just not really the right moment, and you have to remember that there may be two people on the screen, me and Dylan, but there's like 30 people in the background, and sometimes it's not the right scene, or sometimes it's you gotta kind of they have to cut for something, and then you have to kind of maybe redo it or something.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the right time for us to kiss. But he's an amazing guy, and I do really, really, really appreciate his
Yeah, he came
friendship.
here. He really is amazing.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
Did production ever coach you or tell you keep somebody around longer?
No, never.
Okay.
Never. Every choice that was made was my choice.
Oh, we
and
love to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Can we talk about the dates a little bit? Like, how were those chosen?
Before the show, they actually asked me what I was into, what I like to do. Karate is a huge part of my life. My dad's a master. My mother and my mother, sister, and father, they own karate academies throughout Florida. I grew up doing karate, so we were going to do karate, but we decided to do kickboxing instead. And the art walk is just all those things were kind of part of my life, and so that's why they incorporated that into the dates.
Yeah.
Are we going to see more design work from you in the future?
Definitely. I'm working on, it's called RSJ Collection.
Ooh.
It's doing furniture, gonna do
Clothes?
Candles.
not clothes. It's gonna be like home fragrances, diffusers, stuff like that. I'm thinking about doing like a love blanket. All
Great.
kinds
Oh,
of
a
really
love
cool
blanket.
stuff.
Yeah. Hold on, now that could be.
Is that for two people?
Love blanket. You gotta wait for that one. And you guys can RSJ Design and Instagram if you want to follow me on Instagram and RSJ Collection.
Absolutely.
So,
Are you going to go on like a home garden
I'm not
shows
blocked
or
on
have
that
your
one
own
yet.
show?
I hope so. Yeah,
That's what I was gonna
maybe I can
say.
come back here and talk about my design work some other time.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Robert, when
a
you
viewer-
when you get back, would you please refriend Jesse and Jay?
I really want to know why I
I
blocked
wanna
you in
know
the first
too.
place.
They're not aggressive. They're not haters. I can tell you.
So let me tell
Maybe it was just one of those nights. I was like, block, 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 block.
Yeah, no, they're not haters.
It was in the crossfire. Just to let you know, I am good. I checked every week. I am good. I'm good with you too.
No, but it was funny because we were texting and he was like, hey, he was like, Robert blocked me. And I was like,
And then you texted me, and I almost died. I'm like, oh my god, if Robert blocked me, I will die.
He will jump out of his building.
Did I laugh? I think I laughed.
wait, so I'm like, that's so weird. So I'm like, let me see if I can find out why. And I'm like, he blocked me too. So I'm like, hang on. It's like I sent out a group text, and they're like, no, we're good. I'm like, what did we do?
I'm
So,
good.
Robert, we were talking about your projects. My friend Brandon, who watches from Italy, asked a question. I said, "Do you want to ask anything?" She did say that you were in. So he wants to know if there are any spin-off projects, or anything that you're working on with the projects you've been talking about, TV-wise.
TV-wise, I love to travel. I love travel, architecture, design, anything that has to do with history. So I would love to do a show in the future that incorporates travel and history and architecture and try to really educate the viewer on all that. You know, that's really what I would love to do, something like that. Or like,
so see
you remember
that.
Hollywood? I mean, Wild
When
on
Tara
E.
went out.
Oh, Wild on
Wild
E.
on E. I would love to do a Wild on E kind of
yeah.
gay version.
Love Tara.
That'd be amazing.
We need her on the
I should
show.
see that. I'm rooting for you for that. If you need a guest co-host, let me know. I'm just gonna slide that
Very
on
cool.
you.
I love that.
Well, Robbie is doing his own thing with Home Garden on Hallmark Channel. Maybe you could like be a guest star
Oh, a
on
little
that.
guest
That'd be great. You know,
Family.
Robbie's amazing, and to do a
I was going to
collaboration.
ask you about that because he did that very volatile interview where he said,
Yeah.
if you had a second choice, you would have got rid of Robbie earlier and kept Paul. How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, Robbie, he's an amazing guy. He actually did an interview a while back, which was really not nice. You know,
Is this the whole chat that we're talking
in
about?
regards to me personally. He attacked me physically. He attacked me on my past. He attacked me in every shape, way, or form that he could have attacked me. And again, that says a lot about him. I don't really have anything to do with that, but I did feel kind of sad that he went there in so many
Well, I mean,
ways.
you do have a little bit of a temper, and you did give him a hard time on the show. So maybe
How'd I
he
give-
just
how'd I
had
give
a
him
hard time
on the show.
We never
Well, there
saw
was a
it.
moment where you guys were in the kitchen, and you kind of got a little
Yeah, but
upset
how
at him.
does that resonate to him attacking me months later?
Well, I mean, sometimes
doesn't.
people have their feelings hurt, you
Yeah,
know,
well,
and
he
they
did-
they want to share. They have a
Well, everyone
perspective.
had their feelings hurt. You know, I had to eliminate 13 guys, so you didn't really have your feelings hurt, but he obviously did, and Sam did, and Chad did, and I mean, you know, I've been taking that abuse for a while, but I don't think that he should have gone public with that that interview. I mean, maybe you think
No.
differently, but
I can see
Do you
it.
think it's a different Robbie that we're seeing on the show? Do you think there's two sides to him? Is that what you're saying?
I think Robbie definitely is a character. You know, I think that he's a character, and
Well, I can say this. I've spent a lot of time with Robbie,
Yeah.
and I definitely don't think that he's a different person. The Robbie that you see on the show is who he is every single day. However, I will say that like whenever he came out with that interview, I called him and I was like, look, you know, hey, you know, don't. Why would you do that?
It
Why
was
would
a
you say
lot.
those
It
things?
wasn't just like the
and so I definitely called him and said that. I really think that Robert and Robbie should have a conversation and they should patch things up because I think that they would be really great friends. And
The goal was to have all three of you on tonight. You were my choice. I said I want Robert, Eric, and Robbie tonight. So yeah, maybe we'll get
surprise.
a chance. I know.
That's happening after this. That's not happening.
So
And we have Robbie on the phone now.
Oh shit.
I just took his. I think I said it, that I took that interview from him just as his way of telling like maybe what we just couldn't see from him, and
Right.
so I don't think it changed my opinion about the show, him, or anything. It just was this is my experience with the show.
I think that being on a show like this, and as you just expressed, like people were going to have their feelings hurt, and I think everyone is letting it out in various ways. And
well,
that
just
was
like we said
his-
earlier, like when you go onto the show and you watch the episodes that you're in, right? You watch them all over again. You relive all those feelings again.
Yep.
And when Robbie did that interview, he did it the next morning, right after he saw himself be eliminated, and
Yeah.
be, you
So
know,
you're just-
and he was just being himself and tried to be himself. And so, like when that came into question, like he had a lot of feelings. I'm
Yeah,
sure
but
that
with
it just came out.
I don't want to troll you, but with every guy, I have never called him out on anything. Social media, I've always been respectful. I've always cared about their feelings, sincere, with dignity. And a lot of those guys didn't treat me the same way, which is, again,
That's true.
it says a lot about them. But I have never, ever tweeted any of them negative comments. I've never said anything about their physical appearance. I've never commented about anything about them. And
That's
for
a
them
really
to
good
come
point.
after and attack me, it says a lot about them. But that's the nature of the beast. So.
when they go low, you go high.
Prince Charming.
We're going off of that. So
There
we
we
know
go.
that you're in contact, Eric, Brandon. Who else from the show are you friends with?
Well, Justin, I love Justin, and Dylan.
we
I
love
see,
Justin,
I
too.
see
I
Dylan regularly,
love.
yeah, because
Yeah.
he lives in LA. But yeah, well, Brandon, Eric, Dylan, Justin. I have respect for all of them. You know, they all put their lives on screen, which is really brave of them. So I really, really, really do wish them all the best, and I hope they all find happiness in whatever capacity they want to find happiness in. You know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
The black tie affair was always a nerve-wracking thing in each episode. One thing that I found very interesting during the reunion was the whole superstition
I didn't know that.
they had.
I almost wore khaki today.
That
I
was
would have been
me.
out of this room.
Well, thank God you didn't wear
It was
khaki
only 2 times.
because you would have been gone.
He's like every
That's enough for
single
me. I'm super
episode.
suspicious.
Yeah,
It was an issue.
It's a khaki check.
That was Justin's thing. He
like
came up with that really quickly,
Yeah.
and he's
That was
always
really-
got
that was
those
A
really
quick
rhyme. Like
one-liners.
I was impressed.
Yeah.
That's talent.
Yeah.
Robert,
blouse
for,
leave the house.
for you during the black tie affair, was there ever one that you went back and thought, oh, I'm not sure if I made the right decision?
Yeah, yeah. And I said this earlier today on the Finding Prince Charming logo Facebook page.
Yeah. Yes, plug.
Yeah. You know, he doesn't agree with me, but I wanted to spend a little more time with Paul, and I did. You know, I've said that.
Oh, that giggle.
I acknowledge that, and that's
Yeah.
the truth. And yeah, that was one.
I mean, I think that you guys have a lot in common. There are a lot of things about your lives, the way that you are.
Yeah.
I definitely think if you were to spend more time together, I don't think that it would work out.
And you're probably right. But in that moment, I did want to bring him back, and we were actually going to bring him back, but it just didn't turn out that way.
Because everyone was, I think that really
That was a shock.
caught everyone off guard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
It did, yeah. I felt that online. I got
Yeah.
a lot of like, why did you let Paul go?
Yeah, we were all shocked.
So you had the right to bring back suitors? Because I
Eric's like,
always
bye.
thought somebody was going to come back
Well,
too.
Yeah, well, I
he did
guess.
whisper in my ear once. He's like, "I think I made the wrong
Yeah.
choice," you know. And so then I was like, "Oh, Paul's coming back now. Oh, great, you know. Now
Yeah.
there's one
But
more
nobody
person."
ever came back.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
And I did watch that Facebook Live today. I
Yeah.
saw that. It was great.
I want to ask Eric a question. What was kind of like daily life in the house like with you guys? Just maybe from the beginning all the way to the end. Like,
Yeah,
All
so-
85
yeah, 85 days.
Yeah.
Give us a date.
87 days. So it was, I mean, there were moments where we had a lot of fun. Normally in the morning, I would wake up first. I was always the first one up.
Early
Justin, yep. Early bird gets the worm. And it's just, it's natural. I always wake up early. You know that.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
He does.
We're thinking about the
He should
worm.
cook breakfast. That's what would be nice.
Oh, God.
Wake up and cook breakfast.
I mean, since you're up, you might as well.
So,
Postmates.
so I would wake up, Justin would come up, wake up, we would have coffee, we would usually like deliberate about what had happened the night before or whatever, and then slowly but surely, you know, the boys, you know, would wake up, and then we would, we had a little gym area. They don't really show much of that, but we had a lot of like really cool conversations in the morning at the gym, and that would be before the cameras would roll in. So we would have all these conversations, and they would hear some of it, and they would be like, wait, talk about that, and or something, and you know, like that was a lot of fun in the mornings. Like we would work out at the gym. We didn't have a treadmill. They should have a treadmill next year.
Yeah.
That would
We'll have
been
a bigger
nice.
budget for season 2.
Yeah.
Much bigger budget.
Well, see, you just lost
Hopefully.
me at gym because I wouldn't have been there. You would have found me always in the kitchen.
I never saw
Yeah.
the gym. I don't even
Making
remember
breakfast.
seeing it.
making
We saw
breakfast.
the reunion right
yeah.
now.
It was outside.
Yeah.
Small little.
Okay. They
area.
said the pool house was air conditioned. It was like 120 degrees. The pool was steaming hot, and that's why Chad invited you back to the pool house.
You going back to that?
Let's just go back to that.
Oh, Adina Howard, get it
So
together.
that was his. Well, he came on the show. Let's give him credit. He did come on the show.
Oh,
and
Chad came on?
Chad called in.
Chad called in, and he said that was the sole reason because it was so hot. He wanted to go back to the pool house.
Spin it.
Well, yeah. Well, look, we've already been there, discussed that. We're gonna
Been there,
move
done
on
that.
from it.
Have a nice life, Chad.
Yes, bless your heart, Chad. One thing I did want to ask you, Robert, did you ever give Brandon back his sobriety necklace?
Yeah, I actually gave it back. I just got a text from my mom out there. I was like, did you give it? Yeah,
I was
at
thinking
the
the same
elimination. At the elimination,
Yeah.
I had taken it off. I don't know if they showed that, but I took it. No, I don't think they showed it.
No,
I
they
took
didn't.
it off, and then I gave him back his
Oh,
necklace
okay.
at
The
the
final
elimination.
elimination.
Because that's
Yeah.
what I was always wondering. I was like, I've never seen the exchange or the give
I
back
thought the
of the
same
necklace.
thing,
And
yeah.
if you still got it, shame on you.
No, I gave it back. I don't know why they cut that out.
He's like, it was a gift.
Yeah,
So
that was a nice gesture. I like that moment. I thought that was one of the first moments where we were seeing
Well, I think that
something
was
like
that. You're right. You said you gave him the idea to give him.
Robbie and I had a
necklace?
conversation with him because he was really, really worried. And this is really interesting. We did this with the people that we made connections with, we would talk them in, we would talk them back out of their crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so like it's a competition, but then we would help each other get ready, and then we had moments like this where Robbie, Brandon, and myself, we were all in the pool, and all the other guys were out on dates, and it was just the three of us there. That was the day that I cut Brandon's
I
hair.
remember the salon.
Oh, the salon.
I said I
Yeah, the
would
little,
love to
yeah,
do
the
it.
salon moment, and both Robbie and I were like, you need to do something, like a gesture. And I was like, why don't you write him a note, send him a note, and then he came up with, the idea to give him the necklace.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that definitely brought him to the forefront because for a while it was like, oh, you're there too.
Yeah.
And Robbie would read everybody's horoscope and be like, okay, now you need to do this, and this is what you need to do.
Wow.
And so, like,
Robbie was like,
Really
this
broke it
mother-
I need that
Astrology
in my life.
zone?
yeah, so the other
She's the
day he was
best.
like, honey, before
Wait, don't you
do
guys
that,
have
Astrology Zone
yeah, don't you
has
guys-
the daily. I pay for it. It is so dead on. I swear she's like a psychic. I mean, she describes exactly what's going on. And if you know your rising sign, that's your daily thing. But let me tell you, I interviewed her. She is the most amazing astrologer on the planet. It is so accurate.
Astrology Zone?
It's astrologyzone.com, and I've been wanting to promote that forever. I'm
Well,
so
there's
thankful.
plug.
you have it.
What came up?
Eli Miller.
It might be some
Guidance in my
designer
life,
Instagram.
Ruskin.
So Robbie,
design.
kudos to you. But that, listen, I'm so thankful that she is on the planet. I mean, it is day to day, so accurate. It's amazing.
Well, I'm gonna
I
text
need
you
some
and
help.
ask you what it says for me. So
Yeah.
that
Well,
I
the
don't have to
monthly
pay for
crazy
it.
Geminis
What
of the
sign
world.
are you?
Capricorn.
Ooh.
We have a Capricorn on right
Okay.
hand.
I'm
I can't go there.
Aquarius. Any other Aquariuses? Oh, okay.
My father.
Gemini.
I'm on the
I need to know
cusp,
more about
so.
that.
What are you?
I'm a Gemini.
We have a Gemini on our hands.
Exactly. Dun, dun, dun.
One person that I wanted to bring up because I just resonate with him and I totally understand where he's coming from is Danique.
I love him.
Oh, I love the
Oh, Danique is one of my favorites.
He's so fun and so super sweet, and he was so vulnerable during the show, and even during the reunion when they showed the clips of his elimination. I totally feel for him because I feel like that a lot of times too. I told you guys this. I always get friend zoned.
I want to hook my younger brother up with Danique. I think that they
Do
would make a
it.
really good couple.
That's sweet.
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
They
Gay
would.
brother?
Yeah.
Oh, I love
yeah,
that.
I have two younger brothers, and my youngest brother's gay. Hi, Jared, if you're watching.
Oh, hey Jared.
Nice.
Oh,
Hey,
you just spilled
Jared.
all your tea.
Yeah, I actually was on FaceTime with him, and I went and had dinner with Danique and Robbie last night, and I was able to introduce him. So
Oh, is there a connection there?
I don't know.
Is there a little
Yeah.
You're trying to start your own
Nice.
Finding Prince Charming over here.
Yeah.
Look at you, the little spinoff.
Cupid.
Danique and Jared. Oh.
But we are
that.
going to have a whole new fresh crop of people for season 2, right? We're not, because everybody's oh, Brandon's going to be the next Prince Charming, but really,
We have no idea.
No,
We're
we have
not.
no idea.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice to have a fresh.
I have a lot of opinions.
I agree with you, Robert. I
Yeah.
really want to see a whole fresh new cast. I think Lance is going to be back though as executive producer, but
You mean as host?
and host, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But I think he's the only one. I think we're going to start fresh across the board, and I would
yeah.
like that personally.
Yeah, if we start fresh, that's great. I think it'd be fun to have people come back and make appearances and give some advice to the suitors and
you
stuff like
too.
that.
I would love
You
that.
too. Smart.
You
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to. I wish somebody could have sat down with me and given me a few pointers and
yeah.
like been able to let me know, like, okay, do
Like
this.
what?
And then
Like
even after we came off the show, I was like, I need to call somebody that's been on The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. What do I do? How do I handle this? I'm so
Right.
nervous. You put yourself out there. You tell everybody. I mean, I told everyone I'm HIV positive, and I'm like, I came off like so scared to death. Like, what you don't have control over things. You're like, how are people going to react to this? Am I going to be accepted? What
Yeah, we're not
do I
actors.
do with it?
You know, I'm an interior designer, and he cuts hair, so it's not like we've ever been through this process before. So you're literally kind of
Right.
just bye. The show's over. Now do your thing.
Figure it out.
Yeah, and I have to
is-
like sit.
yeah.
And I have to sit with people
Kinda crazy.
in my chair every day, my
God.
clients
Talking
who
about
know
it.
that I was on the show even before the show aired, and they will sit down every day and they will ask me questions, and I'm like, I can't talk about that. I can't talk about that.
Yeah.
And then as the show airs, I'm like, I can only talk about what happened in the previous episode. I was like, so what have you seen?
I'm
What's going on?
gonna book an appointment and come in.
Yeah,
to
you
this.
should definitely come in. It's a fun time.
Would any of y'all do season 2? I know you can't. You have a boo.
I can do hosting. I can do expert advice. I will do anything.
We're talking about being a suitor.
I can't.
No.
I don't
Grant,
think that likes
Jay,
for me. No.
Jesse.
I don't know.
Well, if you guys want to, we have the email that you can send your photos over.
I mean, honestly,
something that would
if
scare
you don't
me. Like, with the
if you don't have like a strong like foundation, like a center, something to bring you back to center. Like I would wake up every morning and I would meditate, I would read, and I had my time to myself, and I was able to like connect with Justin, and like we held on strong.
Yeah.
You being sequestered like that in that house with all those people, like you start to lose it, like because you're
Which
not.
is what they want.
Yeah, you don't have any of those things that you use to distract yourself, right? You've got your phone, you have television, you can call a friend, you can call home, and you can't do that there. Like you have no control, and you're just sitting there waiting, like you're like people in a petri dish.
Yeah.
See, I never say no to things like that, but it would be like in your case, like if someone came in, it would just be like something that would scare me. You know, that would be like a big move in my life to do anything to put myself out there like that. So
I want him to be on the show. So
I
bad.
question
You
it.
should.
Do it.
It's
Do
an
it,
amazing.
Tony.
It really is an amazing experience. You get to tackle a lot of issues that you've.
Yeah, I'm
know.
actually. I mean,
So-
I'm saying it was very difficult and very challenging, and be ready for it. But I will say this: I'm very grateful to Logo for this opportunity because I got to see myself from a perspective that most people don't. And one of the things that I've always tried to do in my life is to see myself from the outside perspective, which is not easy. And being able to do that and see myself, I was like, wow, that's what I look like. Those are my mannerisms. That's how I act. That's what I say when I get upset. I act like that. You know, so. I definitely think that it's an opportunity, and if it happens for you, then it was meant to be.
And isn't it good to have something to fall back on when it's over? Because when the cameras are gone, it's like they're done, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you have to go back
The
to
first
life.
day that we were back, I was not planning on being in the salon, but they actually extended production a week because the show was doing so well and they were really liking it. And when I went back the next day. Like Robert and we left, dropped me off at home. And I had to be at work the next day, and I was nervous to do that, but it actually brought me back to reality really quickly.
Yeah,
And
so
it, like,
it definitely is good to have something to fall back.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't just
for
go on there.
sure.
You wake up like,
I
where's
know.
Justin?
It's like
You have
shocking
to
if you've
have
never done
foundation.
anything. Is it like Dancing with the Stars, though? With every episode that you stay on, you get paid more. Are you allowed to talk about that? I want to know. I want to know.
No, we can't talk about
You can't talk about that. Okay, I didn't think so. Okay.
There are
Just a
things my mom
stipend.
taught me not to talk about.
I do have-
Politics and money.
And religion.
Keep
I have one more question for you.
keep your job, boo. Keep your job.
Especially
Keep
now
your job.
politics, not today. Oh.
Yeah. Oh no, we're not even going to get
we're not
into
gonna
that.
get
We
into
went back into
I-
I went back into my bubble.
I forgot about that for all of 5
Eric, one
minutes.
thing.
Yeah.
I know that there were kind of a time thing for you guys, but for you chose the masquerade to kind of expose your secret. Was that a conscious choice? Like, were you thinking, if I don't do it now, it's just not going to happen? Or what kind of went through your head at that point?
Well, when I knew that I would talk about it at some point if I was given the opportunity, when Lance came in and said, you're going to reveal something that's really deep about yourself, it was just a moment that I knew. I knew at the beginning of the year even that I wanted to start to be more active and be an advocate and for HIV, and the areas that are really important to me are treatment and prevention and stigma, and this was a really amazing way for us to talk about stigma, for somebody to accept me and be put in that situation, and then to make it all the way to the end. It's a bigger picture, it's a bigger story. I mean, honestly, I feel like out of all of it, there are so many really key moments, and there's the second love story, which is the guys in the house, there's HIV and stigma, and then there's Robert and myself. And then outside of that, it's like how people see that in the world. There are people in we're locked into our bubbles here in Los Angeles, right? And so those subjects may not even be that big of a deal to us, but there are people in rural America that are watching this. There are kids, and there are people who have HIV or who are scared of it, and you don't have to be scared of HIV. It's not something to be afraid of anymore. Undetectable means untransmittable. We don't have to worry about that anymore. And, I have really gotten behind a few things. I've been working with APLA, AIDS Project Los Angeles, and the Prevention Access campaign is really important to me. And people having easier access to treatment and understanding what prevention is. We have all these tools now that are available to us. You can use condoms, you have PrEP, and you can be celibate if you like. You can do all of them. What's real in your life is up to you. What happens, the choices that we make are up to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, bravo.
Yeah,
That's
well said.
great.
Did you go into the show knowing that you were going to reveal that about yourself, or did that just come up?
It was from the moment that I was approached in casting, I told them from the very first day, I talked about that as a part of my story, because it just in the last few years, I had gotten more and more comfortable sharing my status and talking to people about that, and I knew that I knew that I wanted, if I was given the opportunity, I would definitely talk about it. This is a dating situation. When is it appropriate to talk about this? I share it with people who are important to me in my lives when I feel safe and comfortable around them. And then I have to talk about this when I'm in a dating situation. When I meet somebody that I care about, that I want to be more intimate with, I have to talk about that. And in the very beginning, when I first found out, I was rejected over and over and over again. And if you had asked me why did I move to LA, it was to be around people who were more accepting of me and who I was, and were educated and understand. And that's the work that we have to do in that area now, is to continue to educate people and to get the information out there so that they're not misinformed, so that they don't make ignorant choices, and so that people, that's not an obstacle to meeting somebody to fall in love with. That doesn't need to be an obstacle anymore. If you meet somebody and they tell you that they're HIV positive, if they're on treatment and you're protecting yourself, there's not a problem. There's no issue.
Exactly.
You don't need to worry about it. And if you're still scared about it, go do your own due diligence and figure it out. When people come, when they're not educated, when they don't have that information, I'm always just sort of like, okay, you can do it yourself. Go online. I mean, you can figure it out. There's so much information out there at your fingertips. And I'm more than happy to talk about it. So if you want to send me a message.
I commend him for doing that. I mean, what he did was major for, again, the community.
Yes.
And as we've said over and over again, the show is, we both said this, the show is so much bigger than us, than this. We're actually tackling real issues that are affecting real people. So people can hate on me, people can hate on him, people can hate on the show. At the end of the day, we're tackling issues that really affect millions of people throughout the world. I've received emails from all over the world, and so has Eric, of people just acknowledging the fact that, wow, this is a little drop in the bucket, but it's really affecting major people's lives. And you guys up here being gay hosts are affecting really a lot of people as well. So we all have to do our
You guys
part.
are gay?
I'm not gay.
I didn't know that.
I'm not.
But we all have to do our part, and I commend you. It's really beautiful and amazing that you did that.
Yeah.
It's really
And we commend you
Yeah.
for choosing somebody who is HIV, and it didn't matter. It was about love, and that's why
Correct.
I was so excited, because you made a statement when you did that. That's why last week I was cheering. I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I commended both of you guys for just being vulnerable and letting walls down and exposing who you are, because it's not easy, especially when you have that fear of being judged and being talked about and having people look at you differently.
Yeah.
So I commend both of you
Thank
for,
you.
for doing
I mean,
that.
rejection and fear is always an obstacle, but once
Yes.
you are able to confront that pain that it causes, because that's pain, fear and rejection, and that's real pain that people have. And once you tackle that, like Eric and I and a lot of the guys on the show did, once you tackle that, it's really amazing. It really opens up your heart, and it's like a weight that comes off your entire body.
Yeah.
And if somebody doesn't accept you for who you are, fuck it. I don't give a shit.
Bye-bye.
He's who he is. I'm who I am. We care about each other. Everyone else cares about each other. The world is made of people that love and care about each other. And so you have to accept yourself for who you are, and you start with yourself. You really have to start within yourself to accept you for who you are, your past, your journey in life. That's where it starts. It starts with you, people. That's where it starts. Yeah.
Now, before we have to let you guys go, because you do have a life to get to, and we're not going to keep you in the
We've got
AFTERBUZZ TV
dinner.
bubble. How can you wrap up this experience that you had? Because it's been quite a journey, and of course something fairly new. How do you wrap things up and in terms of your experience on this show and doing the show?
Well, I mean, for me, it's been an amazing experience. First of all, to get a chance to talk about issues that are affecting the community, that's major. To get a chance to meet Eric and meet Brandon and meet the amazing people at Logo and meet you guys, it just goes on and on. My gratitude is a daily gratitude of just how amazing this experience has been. And for me, that's where it begins. It's just gratitude and thankfulness for being able to be a part of such a, first of all, historic show. That's huge. That's huge. And I'm just grateful for it,
For me, I think that the amount of self-respect that I've had to have for myself coming through this, working through fears of having everything be so public. I'll tell you this: when I went onto the show, I did not think that I'd make it past a couple episodes.
Really?
That's how I thought I would come on here and there were going to be all of these guys that were going to be better than me, and I learned a lot about self-confidence for myself. It's something that has probably been an area of struggle. And I mean, for me to be able to do this and to see myself from that perspective has definitely been really helpful. And, you know, moving forward, it's like that particular area of my life, relationships, I don't want that to be so public, you know? The rest of my life, open book. You know, but that part I need to keep to myself for a little while.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah, for you.
So what's the future looking like for you two?
Well, we're just focusing on our lives. I'm focused on my career, you know, being in the salon every day. Like, this has totally been a distraction from my daily life.
And what salon is that?
Public service.
Where is it located?
It's located on Fairfax and Waring, right next to Pitfire Pizza. And if you're in West Hollywood, you should come see me.
Plug it up.
I'm gonna ask for the Prince Charming haircut.
No, I can't have any more people with my hair around West Hollywood. No.
I
know exactly what that is.
I give people what they want, and I make them feel good. I have an opportunity every day to have people sit down in my chair, and I know that I can either make their day or I can just give them a haircut, and I choose to do both.
Yeah,
That's very nice.
That's great.
so sweet.
Well, guys, is there anything else before we have to, unfortunately, say adieu
Yeah.
to
I am
Mr. and
so
Mrs.
thankful
Charming?
for finding Prince Charming. I'm so thankful to be part of the after show. And I'm so thankful that you guys came in the very
Yeah,
last
thank you for
episode.
having us,
Really,
yes.
you guys are beautiful, inside and out.
I was very excited about this show because I felt like it was long overdue, and I thought that Logo did just an amazing job presenting it. You guys did such a great job representing all different types of people, because I think in the beginning when you think of a gay dating show, the first thing you think of is like, oh my God, it's gonna be a mess. Everyone's gonna be hooking up with everyone. And I just like that there were so many different types of people that we all can connect to and all types of different situations. And then in the end, you have two people that were able to find love, so that kind of rekindles the fire for others who are by themselves and still looking for love. So thank you.
Hey, there's
for
a
that.
season 2, Tony. Work on it.
Work on it.
See, I don't
Figure it out.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could do what you guys did, because I feel like I would be like you, Eric. Like I would walk in and go, oh my gosh, like they are. I'm just gonna chill in the back. I would be the Robbie of season 2.
Well, he didn't completely chill. He was out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that they let me go first because it allowed me to like really get comfortable, you know, to meet everybody. If I would have been like one of the last ones in, and that would have been so uncomfortable. All the guys as they came in, I was like,
Cameras in your face.
and the cameras in your face, and you would also sort of just be like, we tried to welcome people in to make them feel comfortable because they kept you in a truck, you know, like we were.
If you want to be a suitor,
It's all waiting.
if you want to be a suitor for
you're waiting
season
and waiting
2,
and waiting, the
go.
anticipation of it all.
Yeah.
If you want to be a suitor for season 2, you can go to the Logo Finding Prince Charming Facebook page and submit yourself there. And also, if you're having issues with your sexuality or coming out, you can tweet me, you can tweet him, you can tweet Lance, you can go to the Trevor Project. They have an anonymous 24-hour a day, 7 days a week hotline that you can call in. And if you're having issues with that, just go and try to talk to somebody. And again, the Trevor Project is an amazing project.
Great stuff.
You can talk to somebody, especially if you're, like Eric said, if you're not in these bubbles like New York, LA, Miami, you're not in these cities, which we obviously know what happens with that. It's a lot of rural people. I mean, more people live in rural areas than anything else. You need to talk to somebody if you need to. So, yeah.
We welcome all
That's great.
communication.
All right. Well, unfortunately, guys, that is it for
guys.
our.
Thank you guys for
lovely
coming.
show.
Thank you for having me.
It was so nice to
Cheers
meet all
to
of you.
that.
And whoever I blocked, I'll unblock.
No, you're both the stand-up guys.
All right.
Before we head out, one last time, starting with Chris, where can they find you via social media?
Well, guys, you can find me on Twitter at AKA Golden Boy and my website, chrisvalentine.la.
And you guys can find me over on Twitter at Grants__Rants and on my podcast, Grants Rants Hollywood Talk.
I had a random plug because somebody was asking about my vest last week, so I wore the same brand, Ref Skin. They're amazing. Check them out.
All these plugs.
I know. Well, everybody else is doing it. And I was complimented last week. I'm taking it. They're amazing. So anyway, Instagram, John_B_jealous, JELLIS. And Twitter, why do I every week? Twitter is still _jealous, JELLIS.
I'm gonna need you to know your social
I
media.
can't do it every week. I do the
so
same
that
thing.
you can tell the people.
Yeah.
Jesse D'Angelo here. I have nothing to plug but myself, and Jesse J. D'Angelo across all social media.
And Eric and Robert, where can they find you? guys?
RSG Design, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, Robert Sepúlveda Jr. I'm starting a new YouTube channel, so.
Nice.
Ooh. Eric J. Leo across everything.
Yeah.
That's
See,
me.
keep it simple. You just like me. And of course, you guys can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony or my website, loungingwithtony.com. Thank you guys for tuning in this whole season of
We're
Finding Prince
done.
Charming.
Yes, thank you
And-
so much.
We'll hopefully
Commenters.
see you guys for season 2, and thank you guys so much, and thank you once
Thank
again,
you, guys.
Robert and
Thank
Eric,
you,
for
guys.
joining us.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.